All right, so let's look at example I. Notice that your example I in the textbook is going to have some more information where they actually work through the problem. Above this information right up in here, there's some explanation. I'm going to explain this in detail and show in the table why we do each part. And also the premium computations I'm going to do and explain each part as we work through each one of these examples. So there's 5 different situations. Each of these 5 rows here. We'll work through each one. So using the premium shown in figure 12.1, determine the yearly premiums for each of the following $50,000 life insurance policies purchased at age 27. So there's 2 pieces of information we see here. Age 27. Looking at that right there just tells us that we actually do not need to use 3 of these rows of data. So just showing you here, we're not actually going to be using anything in here. Or anything right up in here. We're only going to be using that 3rd row. So nothing in here. That's only for 28-year-olds. And this is for 25 and 6-year-olds. So we're not going to be using that information. Only that 3rd row we're going to be using, based off of age 27. Okay, so we may be using annual, semi-annual, or quarterly, straight life, 20 payment life, 20-year endowment, depending on the type of insurance and the method of payment. But we've narrowed it down to the row we're using, which is based off age. Now, I'm going to switch colors. So using blue, I'm going to explain the $50,000, where that comes in. So the $50,000 life insurance policy, that's the amount of the policy. So this is the life insurance policy that would be paid if someone were to die. And I mentioned this in the slide, in the audio in the slide, that that it's a common confusion to miss this piece of information right up here on the top left in yellow in figure 12.1. The insurance premium per $1,000. So if this is a $50,000 life insurance policy, that means that we would have to take 50,000 divided by 1,000, and that tells us that we would have 50 times whatever value we end up finding in here. So if we had $1,000 policy and we end up getting like 967, that value right in there, then that tells us that it would just be 967. If we had $2,000 policy, it would be 2 times this. If we had $3,000 policy, it would be 3 times this. If we had a $10,000 policy, it would be 10 times this. So $50,000 policy, 50,000 divided by 1,000, is equal to 50. So it's 50 times whatever value we end up finding in here. Okay, and another piece of information that we need to know is in how to deal with it. Actually, we'll get there. I'll explain the last little piece of a portion that we really need to know, besides just reading these values in here and figuring out which part of the chart we're looking at. Okay, so we have for the first one, straight life annual, and I'm going to go ahead and use that color. Straight life annual. So that tells us straight life is right here, and it's on an annual basis. That's how often we're paying. So we're paying once a year for this insurance. So as you can tell, you actually save a little bit of money paying annually. So semi-annually, it's more than half this amount. So you'll actually be paying more with this one because you have to pay twice a year. So anyways, annually, straight life. So we want to figure out the yearly premium. So if you're paying annually, the yearly premium is just the value we find in here. So annually, straight life, we have, for a 27-year-old, $18.60. So we're only paying once a year, $18.60 per $1,000. So we have to take that $50 and multiply it by 1860. So that gives us, I'll use an X so you don't get confused with the decimals. That gives us $930. Okay, now the next one is a 20-year endowment. So we're going to be over here in this far right area, the right area over here for 20-year endowment, and we're paying quarterly. So that would be quarterly. So quarterly, that means we're paying 4 times a year. So the premium is $14.63 per quarter. So if we wanted to find the yearly premium, then that means we have to pay 4 times this because we're paying 4 times a year. We want to figure out how much we're paying each year. So if let's switch to this color. If we have $50,000, we have to take 50, multiply it by 1463, and then not only do we have to just multiply 50 by 1463, the value we found on the chart, but since it's quarterly, we're going to have to multiply that by 4 because we're doing this 4 times a year. And that will give us an annual premium of $2,926. Okay, so now I think I'm actually just going to go through the first 3 because I think you're understanding the trend here. So let's just look at one more example. So we're going to do a 20 payment life. So that's this area right here. And we want to do semi-annually. So semi-annually, 20 payment life right here, 1683. So we're right here at 1683. And it's $50,000 still, so it's 50. And we are doing semi-annually. Semi-annually is twice a year. So we're going to have to pay that premium amount of $1683 per thousand twice a year. So to find the annual amount we're paying, we have to multiply by 2. And then that gives us $1,683. Okay, so so you can similarly determine the last 2. I'll let you figure that out. And the solutions are in the textbook. So hopefully you can follow this method to use figure 12.1 on any example. But so any other problems you may be working on, you may have a different policy, and you may have a different age. So you may have to look at a different row and use a different amount to determine maybe we're not multiplying by 50. We may be multiplying, if we have like $100,000 life insurance policy, we may be multiplying by 100. So it all depends. So let me know if you have any concerns about using figure 12.1. Once you figure it out, you'll be able to determine how to answer any problem from Learning Objective 5 from Chapter 12. All right, good luck.